Hello, Carley Weinstein.
Hello,
How we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. One of the best undergrad students at Syracuse University that I ever encountered. Carley, what are you doing these days?
So I work at Hofstra University, which is a private institution on Long Island, and I've been there for almost 5 years. September will be five. And I'm currently the executive producer and director of digital content there. Started out as social media manager, so my role was strictly to manage social, and very quickly rose in the ranks, became director of public relations for digital engagement, had a few titles along the road, but always upward, and really expanding. My title always changed to reflect on what I was doing. So started out as social, very quickly became multimedia, did a lot of traditional public relations, did a lot of writing, media relations. So fast forward to today, and my role really spans almost everything when you think of digital content, social video. So that's what I've been up to for the past 5 years.
Well, that's really awesome. And I actually want to focus a little bit on the title of social media manager. So many of our undergrads, right, graduate and they get a job. It doesn't matter which industry, which sector, whether they go agency, whether, they go work for the actual client side. And because they're millennials, right? And they know what TikTok is and, Snapchat and all that. Why don't you become a social media manager? Can you speak about that role and what people don't understand about that title and the expectations?
Definitely. Yeah. I think the biggest misunderstanding about managing social media is that it's an easy job and that anybody, any young person can do it. And that's really not true. It's a really difficult job. And it's more than just posting on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, right? It's really strategic. It's something that, it's not just about posting. That wouldn't be a full-time job. If you have a full-time job in social media, it's about the strategy. It's about the content creation. It's about the analytics. It's about the campaigns. So it's a lot more, I think, than people really understand. So that would be one misconception about managing social that comes to mind.
Right. So Carley, 6 years ago, or 7 years ago, you're sitting in a sophomore junior class, research methods, right? For PR, for advertising, whatever it was. I'm not sure who your professor was. It wasn't me. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what am I doing in this class? This is so boring. I hate group projects. I don't want to do this. Talk about the journey and how research and the data-driven mindset has come into your life in the last 5 years in your professional journey.
Definitely. So yeah, you hit it on the head. I think sitting in a PR research class, as much as I always loved PR throughout my entire college experience, it's what I wanted to do. A PR research class, I would compare it to sitting in high school in like a math class or a science class. Like for me, it wasn't interesting, and I never saw how it would translate into things that I wanted to do in the future. When I was sitting in my PR research class, I would sit there and be like, I don't want my future career to be conducting research. It's just, I want to be doing PR. I don't want to be on the research side. So I just truly didn't see how it was going to translate to what I did, whether working at a PR firm or in-house somewhere. But little did I know that was not true. And from day one, working in social media and public relations, PR research and social research has played a huge role in what I do. As I mentioned before, a large part of my role is doing social analytics. It's creating reports monthly and annually, running numbers even on a daily basis, just for my own knowledge to inform our social strategy. And it's really not what a lot of people think, which is, I'm not looking at journals every day, right? I'm not always, looking at the, what you would think of when you look at typical research, right? I'm not doing that on a daily basis, but we use a lot of social tools, third-party companies that offer us tools to run numbers, to monitor things. And oftentimes these companies provide research, and they'll send you, updates and emails on things that they have conducted. And that type of information helps to inform, again, our strategy. It helps us to benchmark. you know, what is happening in the higher ed industry as it relates to social and public relations. Where do we stand in comparison to these other institutions? So I would say in that regard, PR and social research has really played a large role in what I do today.
That's awesome. So a lot of competitive analysis, industry analysis,
Yep.
trends,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, you know, and I always tell students, you don't necessarily have to learn how to build a clock, but rather understand how to read the time. And that's ultimately what I want you to come out of this class with, that understanding of how we take research and put it into the campaign.
Exactly.
Right, good stuff. So Carley, when my students think about, because when I said you were one of the best undergrads, what I meant was you engaged in a lot of activities outside of the classroom. Can you speak about what do you think is beneficial for undergrads to think about beyond taking classes and thinking about a GPA?
Definitely. I would say throughout my undergraduate experience, the stuff that I was involved in outside of the classroom was equally as important as the stuff inside the classroom. And sometimes more important. It depends. But when I was in school, I was very active in the Public Relations Student Society of America. I held an e-board, an executive board role, I think almost every year, all the way up to president throughout my time there. I also helped you with managing the social media for the PR department at the Newhouse School. So I was heavily involved. I mean, outside of classes, my life in college really was about my extracurriculars, and you know, it complemented the things that I was learning inside the classroom. It helped me to make friends and lifelong memories, which are priceless. And I got that real world experience, you know, that I could add to my resume and talk about in interviews. And without being involved in those things, I just wouldn't have had that. And I would honestly say that my involvement in extracurriculars would be equivalent to a year or two of like real world experience. You know, within PRSSA, the Public Relations Student Society, I was also involved with the student run public relations firm, which again, that is real experience. So those experiences truly help you in job interviews and beyond.
And you had a couple of summer internships, if I recall.
Yes, I did. Yep. I had two before I graduated. My first one was with W2O Group. And I did a lot of corporate social media for a pharmaceutical company. And then my next one was with MWW Group, and I did a lot of social and media relations for consumer brands. So yeah, they were fairly different experiences, and they were real. I did real work, which was really cool.
Awesome. So I hear a lot of advice. Any final piece of advice for undergrads as they think about coming out to the market, especially this kind of new post-COVID market out there?
Yeah, I think my one piece of advice would be it's okay to not know maybe what you want to do right now. You know, I think a lot of you guys probably want to go into public relations and social media, and that makes sense, but don't feel that you need to pick your industry right now. It's good to have an idea of what you might want to do, but I did not know I wanted to go into higher ed until I found the job posting. So I graduated and didn't know. And actually right out of school, I wasn't doing this. Right out of school, I was an executive recruiter or a headhunter for public relations professionals for about 8 months. And I did not like it. It was not my cup of tea. And then I found Hofstra, and it's been the most amazing experience. And I've been lucky enough to be able to craft you know, my job. I've been able to create what I wanted to do, and it's ever evolving, just like the industry. So again, I didn't even know doing social for a college was an option for me until I found it. So I would just say, don't limit yourself. If you don't know right now, it's okay. Yeah.
Wonderful advice, Carley. If anybody wants to get in touch with you or follow your content, where's the best place to go?
Definitely. I'm on Twitter at Carley Weinstein. So CarleyWeinstein. And then I'm always happy to talk to people. So you can either message me on LinkedIn. Again, it's Carley Weinstein. Or you can also share my contact info as well if anyone wants to reach out.
Will do. Carley Weinstein, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.